Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Shai by Hashem, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, Is Civil War at the Door? A new video of Kamala Harris. This could lead to civil war between not so much race, but race is a part of it, but more so the parties, the two opposing parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. Republicans, for the most part, believe in Second Amendment, which is in the Constitution. Democrats normally don't. Could be some Democrats that believe in it, but I would say the Republicans possess more, firearms than the Democrats. You have a lot of so-called black men that a certain percentage of them that are totally leaving the Democratic Party and becoming Republicans, and they want Trump in there. So-called black men. The Latin tribes, I don't know. The ones that could be here, there could be a split, but the Democratic Party is pretty much consists of. I don't have the hard evidence with me, but you have a lot of Jake women that will vote for Kamala because they engage in a thing called identity politics. Like, I'll give you a quick example. When JFK became president, he was an Irish Catholic. So Irish Catholics more so would vote for Kennedy because they identify him as being Irish Catholic or Catholic. When that's identity politics. I identify with this individual. I'm gonna vote for him. I can sit down and have a beer with him. When Obama became president, that was a IG R. Play with the letters R at the end. Put the R in the front. R. IG election. I think all of them are. Yeah, Jake came out of the woodwork. Jakes that normally wouldn't vote, they registered to vote to put Obama in the office. Obama was nothing but, like I said, nothing but an empty suit. Didn't do not one thing for Jake. Or really the country. He didn't make a change. He said change is coming to America. Change could be change for the better or change for the worse. She's running on moving forward, not backwards. Well, you can be at a cliff in your car and move forward and you fall off that cliff. So what does it mean moving forward in what way? But anyway, hey, the title of the video I came up with says it all. I believe that if she becomes the empress, the commander in chief, that there will be, I believe, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a civil war. And this is Second Ezra chapter 15. We're in second. We've been talking about Second Ezra chapter 15. What's going to happen? How it's going to happen? And it's here. It's here. Second Ezra chapter 15. And followed by that is Second Ezra chapter 16. If you sit down and read Second Ezra chapter 15, you'll be compelled to read the 16th chapter. And then Second Ezra chapter 13 comes after, or comes right after or during this time period when the Lord comes. So we're in that time. Habakkuk 2, we always bring up these scriptures. Habakkuk chapter 2 from the first verse, first couple of verses. The whole chapter actually is a powerful, for that matter, the whole Hosea, the book of Hosea, that's prophet Hosea. The first chapter speaks about the deliverance, what we're going to be. All these scriptures come together as a puzzle. And the ones that can see it are the elect who have possessed the eye salve to see. You got others that look at the scriptures and they see what they want to see. But I'm not going to play this. This is the Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels. We should all know him because he drove past the I believe it was GMS Detroit camp, because he's from Detroit, and he was talking all kind of shit. But he's a Christian. Now, if I was to talk to him, I would ask him a question. I would say, "Are you a Christian?" He said, "Yeah, I'm a Christian." I said, "So you're an Israelite?" He said, "No, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite or black Hebrew Israelite or Israelite." I said, "Well, then you can't be a Christian. In order for you to, I'm trying to think of a good example. In order for you to be on a girls' basketball team in high school, you have to be a girl. You can't be a boy and say, I want to be on the girl. No. The qualification is you have to be a girl. You have to attend that particular high school. There's qualifications. In order for you to qualify to be a Christian, you gotta be an Israelite first. That's what people don't understand. If you go to Acts chapter 11, they were called Christians first at Antioch, and that's south of Palestine. So they really don't know. I'm a Christian. Oh, I'm a born-again Christian. Well, what tribe are you from? What do you mean, what tribe am I from? What tribe of Israel are you from? Anyway, so he really doesn't know. He needs to stay in his lane. But he has good videos that I can, if I need a topic, I'll watch his video and I say, oh, I got a topic. Now, he's totally against Kamala. You had Mark Cuban. Mark fucking Cuban talking about, what was it? I was listening to Bloomberg, which I listen to pretty much every day on the road, which is the financial channel. And they had Mark Cuban talking about how great this woman is, and she ran that campaign like a CEO, she can. First of all, she ain't running a goddamn thing but her mouth. You got people behind her that run everything. Now, before she was, she took the spot of being the nominee. But she wasn't really nominated. She just got up in that slot because this guy, Biden, can't run. So prior to that, every time she spoke, every 3 words, she laughed. She giggled, Everything she did. Now, if you notice, she don't giggle no more. You know why? They pull her ass to the side. They said, nope, can't be laughing and giggling because people are not going to take you serious or seriously. So her whole demeanor, the way she acts, the way she walks, they trained her, man. There's a movie out, came out years ago, starring Richard Gere, called Power. And in that movie, he was the guy behind presidents or Congress people, governors making them look good. You know how the campaign commercials showing you how good this person is, they're a family person, they do this. There's nothing that they do wrong. Then you find out they got all kind of, skeletons in their closet, They're saying that she's an alkie. They're saying that there's a lot of things coming out on this woman. But you're going to have Democrats, which mainly consists of Jake women, Edomite women, and some simp ass Edomite men, and some simp ass Jakes that's gonna put her in. Now we don't know what the true numbers are gonna be, but we know that the whole election process is bullshit, you know? And they're groomed. All these guys were groomed. Obama was definitely groomed years before anybody knew him. Clinton was groomed as a young boy. He had to be in his teens. He was part of this group of future politicians or whatever. There's a picture of him with him shaking JFK's, kind of bowing to JFK. So they groom these people. All these people that become presidents, they groom them. They're not elected, they're selected. Anyway, so when you watch this video right here at this point, 35 minutes, and watch it from the beginning, she says that in 2018, she makes a statement. I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna even say it. I'll let y'all watch it. But she speaks out of two sides of her mouth, and that's what politicians do. That's what they do. Anyway, let me do this. The scriptures say, let me just do it this way. If Satan be divided against Satan, if Satan be the let's see what comes up. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Now Satan represents not the spiritual demon Satan, but Esau, the leader Esau. They're divided against each other. The Democrats and Republicans are divided. There's always, for the last, 20 years, there's always been a divide in the election system. We don't know, it's neck and neck. They ain't supposed to be neck and neck. That shows you that this country is actually divided between blue states and red states, between Democrats and Republicans. Luke 11:18. This is Mark 3 verse 26. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub. Let me do this. Let me try this. Give me a second. Matthew 12 verse 25, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself, the United States, America, there's a divide. It was brought to desolation. Desolation, you get the word desolate, desert. Talking about Babylon becoming a desert. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. House, you got the House of Representatives, the Congress, which is divided. Luke 11:17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. The house is the House of Representatives, the Congress, Democrats and Republicans. Daniel 2 verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. You have financially weak EU nations and financially strong EU nations, militarily weak EU nations and militarily strong EU nations. So they want to separate. The first toe that separated was a couple of years back, was the UK. It was called Brexit, meaning Britain exits. They wanted to get out of the EU. They were part of the EU, and they said we no longer want to be a part of the EU. Now, did they leave the EU, exit the EU because of military reasons? No. They left the EU because of financial reasons, because the stronger financial, economic EU nations have to give to, in the form of supplements, to the weaker ones. So they said, nah, we ain't doing this shit. We don't stand the game with this. They're weak financially. And also militarily. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou seest the iron mixed with miry clay. Let me open this up. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong. Now, that's talking about financially strong, and partly broken, financially broken. Also, militarily strong and militarily broken. Because not all these EU nations possess ICBMs. Now, if you go to the Bible Hub, you go to the commentary. I forget what it tell you. I can look it up, but they're not going to tell you it's talking about now. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that. Hey, the kingdom divided. The scripture says they have turned the world upside down. I believe that's in the book of Acts. Let me go to that. You guys that were part of the One West, one of them Israelites, you went out on the highways and the byways, and you went back in the world, you guys be watching us. You watch all our videos. And you might even meet some of them that even talk shit about us. You're going to get caught up in this mess. There's no escape for you. No more salvation for you. No more money for you. And I got some information about these Venezuelan gangs. They're propped up by a particular organization. Hey, this is nothing but, yeah, you watch the movie Demolition Man. That's exactly what's happening. The movie Demolition Man is playing out. But in that movie, it was against one man against another man. Simon Phoenix against John Spartan. And they ain't talking about a man against a man. It's talking about peoples against peoples. Okay, let me go to commentary. Bear with me for a minute. Let me do it this way. See what happens. Okay, so we got it. Daniel 2 verse 41. Just see what the Cambridge says. The kingdom which began by being iron, ending in being partly of iron and partly of clay, symbolizes its division, one part being stronger than the other, shall be a divided kingdom, alluding I lost my to the manner. I don't want you. Alluding to the manner in which Alexander's empire immediately after his death, BC 332, was petitioned between the generals, the two who in the end divided it substantially between them, being Seleucid, Ptolemy. There's a northern kingdom and southern kingdom in Daniel 11. Daniel 11 took place already. That guy who founded respectfully dynasty, Antiochus in Syria, in Egypt. That's not talking about that. So these scholars, these Bible scholars, they really don't understand the scriptures. Now they will tell you, if you go to the earlier verses of the statue, they will mention that those are the Babylonians, those are the Medo-Persians, those are the Greeks, those are the Romans. And then they'll come back to, that was during the time of Alexander. No, it's not during the time of Alexander. It has nothing to do with Alexander's reign. This verse. I'm talking about this verse. So they don't know. So anyway, let me come over here. All right, second, that's the spirit. It's set up at 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So who's qualified to prophesy to the Israelites, prophets. If you're not a prophet, you're not qualified to prophesy. As Lahab told Sean, this Edomite was running off at the mouth of the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, the world and this and that. And Lahab said, I remember like it was yesterday. Lahab said, Sean, yeah, what? Well, Lahab said, priest Lahab said, you're not qualified to philosophize. I started cracking up. It says, and cause them to be written in paper. That's Habakkuk 2. For they are faithful and true. Meaning everything that's in this book is coming to pass. If it tarry, wait for it. It shall not tarry, it shall surely come. Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity, unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Now, I was watching a short video that Apostle Ramla put up with, what's his title? Priest Danyala. And he was having a discussion with, that had to be put up a couple of years back, I would think. That's not recent. With Jabari, which he thinks he's a high priest of Egypt, some goddamn where. What does he need to do is take his ass over to Egypt and live out there, you know? He'll go on tours and all that. But anyway, they were going into women ruling. And first of all, I would have mentioned, yeah, we had rulers among the women, but ultimately, it was because of the wickedness of the men. Men are supposed to rule. This is how it was from the beginning. You know, men are supposed to rule over women. That's Genesis 3 chapter 3 verse 16. And it was a woman that was deceived, not the man, because she was doing her own thing. Hey, just like your sisters do today, they gonna vote for Kamala. So they eating the fruit on their own. This time, us, Adam, the sons of Adam, we ain't following you. You on your own. You women are on your own. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So why would you waste time going on a panel that they don't believe that they're Israelites? On Sarnetta or any of the consciousness. I don't have nothing to say to none of them. Now, if I come on their platform, I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be I come to lecture. I don't come to debate. I don't come to discuss. I come to lecture. We here to lecture, man. See, there's a difference between debating and lecturing. We're telling you what the truth is. If you got a problem with it, walk down the street, or we'll walk down the street. Behold, saith, MOTB, if, let's say IUIC and ISUBK team up, which that's never going to happen. You know, that ain't going to happen. But let's say they team up and they say, we want to have a debate with the GMS, the men of GMS about this MOTB. I'll decline it. I said, we don't want to have, well, are you scared? Nope. We know that you ain't going to get it, and you ain't supposed to get it. And we're undermining the Most High by trying to make you get it when you can't get it. Trying to turn a alphabet guy back, you know, your brother. Fuck that nigga. He ain't gonna make it. That's it. That's all I gotta say. It said, behold, saith Yahweh, I will bring a plagues upon the earth. We're in the world, the earth. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. Aren't we experiencing that now? Huh? This shit started with the sea ragamuffin. And we saw right through that shit. We saw right through it. We saw right through that con. And we're going to see right through the MOTB. Bear me for a minute. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So we're in the beginning stages, I'll say, of Jacob's trouble. Daniel 12, time of trouble that cannot be compared to any time in history. In Jeremiah 37, time of Jacob's trouble, it actually says Jacob's trouble. So 2nd Ezra chapter 15 is referring to a time of Jacob's trouble. Because Jacob's going to get caught up in this mess. And remember, them Venezuelans are Israelites. They're Jacobs. But they get marching orders. They're getting marching orders. Remember the movie. Watch the movie if you can. It's on YouTube. It's a bootleg version on YouTube that you can watch for free. Matter of fact, let me do this. Okay, Demolition Man, Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, Hollywood movies. There's a bootleg version of it. I mean, you can actually buy the actual version. They show you in the movie, and I did a video on a couple of weeks ago, that I guess that guy is the chief of police or the commissioner. he called Sylvester Stallone a caveman. And he said, "You caveman, look, we put a chip in you when we froze you," or whatever the case may be. And they showed a picture of a chip going into the hand. It was like a simulation. So they had chips back then. They were showing, and that movie came out in '93. And it was supposed to be based off of the opening scene was supposed to be 1996. And bringing it up to date was I believe it was 2032, if I'm not mistaken. So everybody had the charagma. There's plenty of movies out there with the charagma in it. The Mantorian, what is it? The Mentorian? Am I saying it right? It's a tongue twister to me. The Mentorian candidate, I think the word is. And Denzel, it was a remake. Denzel played the part of, he was to assassinate a senator or something like that. I saw the whole movie. And he had a chip in him. He had a microchip. There's plenty of movies made in the 80s, mid to late 80s into the 90s where they had chips in them. So they've been pushing that. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me do this. Bear with me for a minute. And these movies put out there, for the elite. They tell the other elite insiders what they're going to do in these movies. You go to the movies thinking it's this is going to happen. This is going to happen. If she gets in office, I see a civil war coming. Give me a second. Mantorian candidate movie. Manchurian. I'm sorry, I'm Mantorian. That ain't even a word. Manchurian Candidate. This is the original movie. This is Old Blue Eyes. Frank Sinatra. He was in the movie because he became an actor. Good. He's a good man. He's mixed with the mafia, but when Joe Louis was going through hell, he was broke. This guy was giving him. He had a contract with I think it was Pabst Blue Ribbon, that beer, the old beer back in the day. and he would do commercials, and they would send him checks every week. And he said, look, take them checks and send it right to Joe Louis. You know, they love Joe Louis like people love Mike Tyson today. That's the love that they have for Joe Louis. Them Edomites, they love Joe Louis, man. I had a vice principal in high school. I used to always be sent to the office. And this Edomite, he used to tell me stories about, oh, that Joe Louis. Oh, Joe Louis. Oh, that man. Oh, Joe Louis. So I knew a lot about Joe Louis from this principal. He was an Edomite, too. You know, that Joe Louis was something else, man. So this is the movie. And in the movie, he had a microchip in him. What's this? Yeah, that's the original. This is the remake. That's Denzel. Okay. Let me read a little of this. I'm kind of an American POW in the Korean War is brainwashed as an unwritten assassin for an international communist conspiracy. And in the movie, he had the long gun, a rifle of some sort, and he pulled it out. And I believe they caught him. I forget the whole. Look at that, 1992, and he had a chip in him. They showed the scene in the movie where he had a chip in him. The original came out in 1962. I said the Manchurian Candidate. So he was like brainwashed. He was and anybody that goes in the military, they get brainwashed. Now I don't know what's going on in the military. I don't know if all of them or most of them or some of them got the chip. But we're in that time, man. We're in that time. If you think we're gonna go another 50 years, you got to be out your freaking mind. We're counting down to the months. I'm rambling a little bit, but that's okay too. So now let me come back over here. So we're experiencing the beginning of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. It's happening. You were wondering why. You taught it, you read it, said what's going to happen. And you didn't picture in your mind there's going to be truth. There's going to be people from South America that's going to come up and they're just going to start going to war with everybody. And you know that this is controlled because they're not going into upper middle class Edomite areas. You know, if you notice that, they're going into the hood. They're being sent into the hood, whether it be Denver, whether it be New York, whether it be Chicago. They're not going to Scarsdale. They're not going to Greenwich, Connecticut. They're not taking over Rodeo Drive. Or what's the other place in California? You got Rodeo Drive and you got there's another place for the rich. Beverly Hills, they're not in Beverly. They're not taking mansions over in Beverly Hills. They're not going to suburbs of cities that Edomites are doctors and lawyers and politicians. They're sending them to where Jake is, where Jake, so-called Negroes, so forth. You had a big thing in Chicago right now with the Chicago gangs. These guys are coming out of retirement. You got a group called ex-cons for Trump. These are Jakes that were old gangbangers that went to the prison system. And you come out, you don't do it. You're a certain age, you don't do that no more. But you try to help people now. Got this one guy, he's on the news, and he got the black T-shirt, ex-cons for Trump. So you got Jake men going for Trump because they wouldn't dare vote for Kamala. We got them antennas up, man. See, our women don't got them antennas. She's eating that fruit. Adam ain't gonna fall for taking that fruit no more. You know what I mean by the fruit, the tree. So if there's a civil war, don't be surprised if Jake is on the Republican side fighting against other Jake, fighting against you simps and you women. And let me let you in on a secret. Most Jake men despise Jake women. They can't stand them. Most of them. They ain't gonna say nothing, but they can't stand them. Because of your funky ass attitude. So now, as you read, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but this is the thing. Hey, we might go through this weekend, most high willing. This is the time to bring out the Jacob Trouble scriptures. Jeremiah chapter 30, the whole chapter, which is a short chapter. There's a lot of meat in that chapter. Daniel chapter 12, that's talking about now. That's getting ready to happen. Of course, 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, Isaiah 34, that's the missiles, the destruction. Hosea 1, Hosea 2, Hosea 3, and the rest of the book of Hosea. Habakkuk, Joel, Revelation. We're in Revelation chapter 6. We're going from the black horse to the pale horse or the gray horse. We're coming to the part. Matter of fact, let me do that. Revelation 6. Scripture said we turn the world upside down because everybody's talking about the Israelites. That's why the Most High told us, make full proof of thy ministry. We made full proof of the Most High's ministry by going on YouTube and these different platforms, mainly YouTube. YouTube started it all. These other sites that you have videos and you do lives, they came after YouTube. Right, the word is a pale horse. Then it goes into the sixth seal, which says the title is Sixth Seal Terror. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal. You know me, I always go into prophecy. There was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell onto the earth. John looked up and saw, wow, the stars are falling. What he saw was ICBM missiles. He saw the warheads. Those were the stars. Now we also use this to say that celebrities are falling, which are true. Celebrities mean celestial bodies. And the stars, figuratively, but literally, the stars that he saw were the missiles. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree catches her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Now, when we were speaking last week, I don't know if there were acorns or whatever the hell it was. It kept dropping. One dropped on my head. It dropping all over the place when the wind would come. So I made a reference. I said, that's how the missile's going to be shot off. When the wind comes. So he described the missiles as being figs falling from a tree when a strong wind comes along. So stars and figs he saw missiles. And the heaven departed as a scroll. What's that talking about? Mushroom cloud, they call it. Isaiah 34. Got to go into these prophecies. We go into these prophecies over and over and over and over again. when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. So the earth, the makeup of the earth is going to be changed. A lot of these islands are going to be gone. But the whole earth is not going to be destroyed. Babylon will be utterly destroyed, and Palestine will be utterly destroyed, but will be built back up. They don't even have the promised land. Lebanon is part of the promised land. Syria, parts of Syria is part of the promised land. Down there in Saudi Arabia, between the Red Sea and the Euphrates, that's part of our land. They ain't down there, so they don't even got the whole land. They got part of the land. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, slave, we're all slaves, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. They fled. They tried to take cover. And said to the mountain, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Wait a minute. And he said to the mountains, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, which is the Father, which the Lamb sits on the right side of the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. That's Yahweh Shai. For the great day of his wrath, whose wrath? Yahweh's wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Nobody's going to be able to fight the Lord. Well, there's going to be a war in heaven. Revelation 12. So anyway, let me come back over here. So watch this video, and you're going to see that she's giving the script. Trump is giving the script too. If Trump comes into office, he's going to push the MOTB. If the Most High says the MOTB is going to come, it's going to be mandatory for the whole people of the whole planet to get it. Most High said that's going to happen in mid-2025. I don't give a damn who's in office. Now, it could be you have a thing called an October surprise. Look that up. It could be that this guy, Biden, he either drops dead or he just retires altogether, and she automatically becomes the president. You know, so October, November, December, January. So she'll be president for 4 months, and there could be, in the midst of the civil war, which will be planned, auto ab KO, Hegelian dialectics, pressure from above and pressure from below, problem, reaction, solution. If there's a major civil war, then they can suspend in a war. They can suspend the Constitution, so she can just stay in office. The election process will be totally put on the back burner, and they can have that war, that civil war, go for a year. So she's president for a year and 4 months. And during the time of martial law, there's a new set of laws that come out replacing the Constitution. You pull the Constitution back, you put it in the shelf, and you bring out what's called martial law. Martial law. If you're under martial law rules, you cannot bring out the Constitution. You can get killed for that. Give me a second. Let me go over here. Martial law meaning.
Here's the definition of martial law: military government involving the suspension of ordinary law.
You heard what she said? It's a martial law involving the temporary substitution of military authority for civilian rule. In other words, they're going to suspend the Constitution and they're going to bring in a set of laws called the martial law. Martial meaning war, and is usually invoked in time of war, rebellion, or natural disaster. When martial law is in effect, the military commander of an area or country has unlimited authority to make and enforce laws. What laws? Martial law, rule of war. Constitution is put back in the back pocket. Well, wait a minute. What about the election? You're not being constitutional. I don't have to be constitutional. That the president becomes the what is it called? The chief executive officer, meaning the general over all the generals. So they can actually postpone the elections if there's a civil war. You niggas worried about P. Diddy and Eric Adams, where they getting ready to fuck shit up. Let me see something. What happens during martial law? When martial law is declared, a civil liberties such as the right of free movement, free speech, or protection from unreasonable searches can be suspended. In a nutshell, what is that saying? Suspend the Constitution. We got a new set of laws. The justice system that typically handles issues of criminal and civil law is replaced with a military justice system such as military tribunal. And a military tribunal, which is a trial, they'll try you and they'll kill you, right? Okay, you killed you this, the sentence is death, kill him right there. Tie him to a tree and kill him. That's what that's talking about. That's what that's talking about. For you P. Diddy fans out there, has the U.S. declared in 1878, Congress passed the Posse Comitatus Act, which forbids U.S. military involvement in domestic law enforcement. So if you got military working with law enforcement, local law enforcement, guess what? The Constitution is suspended. That's martial law. And that happened in Boston for a couple of days. During the marathon, that explosion that took place, there were military guys going, open the door. They were going into the house and all that. That was martial law, but they forgot to tell you, oh, by the way, the Constitution is suspended in this part of Boston, and what law applies now is martial law. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. It's getting hot.